Hey folk, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Saurabh Pol. Welcome to Pol Ki Pol. Today I'm going to talk about one very interesting topic which I've always wanted to talk about, the reality of a premier MBA and what exactly is their psychological profile, right? And how most of them don't know what they want to do in life. Most of them are sad. They are incredibly greedy, and I'm going to use that word, and horribly insecure, right? And this is not a demonization of premier MBAs in India, uh, but this is an actual trying to show you a mirror. This is actually also putting, like, if you are part of that community, like me, but if you are like, I'll give you, like, I'll throw light on it, थोड़ा सा टॉर्च मारेगा मैं उसके ऊपर, ठीक है? सो मैं आपको सच्चाई बताता हूँ, राइट? If you look at an average above average Indian MBA, राइट, ये लोग होते हैं जो बाहर निकलते हैं MBA कॉलेज से, इनको लग जाती है 80,000 की नौकरी मिनिमम, to 1.5 lakhs to 2 lakhs per month की नौकरी immediately, right? So that is the baseline I want to start off with. Right now, in a country as poor as ours, okay, जहाँ पे महीने का मतलब 20,000 रुपया इज कंसिडर्ड कि ओके, दिस इज द एवरेज income of this country. $2,400 is or $2,700 is the GDP per capita. तो उसमें, उस देश में अगर किसी को 80,000 मिल रहा है और वो 25-26 साल का लड़का है, लड़की है, ओके, और दे आर गेटिंग लाइक अ लाख और 1.5 lakhs a month just out of nowhere, and they don't know jack shit, and they have like 2 or 3 years of work experience. Can you imagine the amount of inflated ego that individual has, right? And I have mentioned this in one of my most popular videos, which is like, these are people who have been told in their 2 years or 1 year of MBA, whatever they have done, that they are special, that they are future leaders, और यही है, तुम ही हो, you are the best, आप ही आगे लेके जाओगे इस देश और दुनिया को, and कम से कम वो अपनी कंपनी और अपनी टीम को. Now these are the people, okay, who are most of Indian MBAs until now, right, until recently when changes have taken place, right? These people used to be engineers, right? 80, 90, 95% of your top IIMs and other premier MBA colleges, they used to be engineers, okay. अभी जाके वो 40% 50% पे आ गया है, 60% पे आ गया है, ठीक है, धीरे धीरे, एंड गोना गेट इवन लेसर, बाय द वे, एंड मार्क माय वर्ड्स, यू कैन वॉच अनदर वीडियो आई मेड अबाउट इट ऑन दैट लेटर. बट द पॉइंट इज कि दीज आर पीपल हु आर लाइक, मोस्ट ऑफ देम दे एंटर एन MBA कॉलेज थिंकिंग, यार मुझे है ना, मुझे इंजीनियरिंग नहीं करनी थी, या अगर मुझे करना भी था मैंने कर लिया, मुझे नहीं इसमें रहना है, मुझे टेक्निकल में नहीं रहना है, मैं मुझे एसी में काम करना है, मुझे थोड़ा मतलब आई वांट अ मच मोर different and much more sophisticated work environment, right? Like, I don't want to work in a cement factory or some shit like that, okay? I don't want to be in like civil engineering or whatever the fuck that I'm doing as an engineer, right? And most of these engineers, by the way, in India, ये IT वाला public था, ठीक है? नाउ दीज IT वाला पीपल, दे आर लाइक, यार ये सब नहीं करना, ये तो बकवास है, हम बस ये IT कंपनी ज्वाइन करेंगे, 2 साल पढ़ाई करेंगे, कैट क्रैक हो जाएगा, CET क्रैक हो जाएगा, हम आ जाएंगे, MBA करेंगे. ना, दैट्स फाइन, आई वाज वन ऑफ देम, बट आई वाज नॉट पार्ट ऑफ द IT इंडस्ट्री, आई वाज जस्ट पार्ट ऑफ अनदर इंडस्ट्री, राइट? एंड आई वाज ऑल्सो वन ऑफ देम कि यार ये तो नहीं करना है भाई, ये जो मैंने किया, मतलब एक चीज़ तो मैं समझ गया हूँ, ये तो मुझे नहीं करना है. एंड MBA इन इंडिया स्पेशली इज नोन कि आप जाओ, आपको पैसा ज़्यादा मिलेगा, दैट्स इट. एंड इन रीसेंट टाइम्स इट्स बिकम दैट कि आप जाओ MBA करो, नहीं तो आपको कभी आगे प्रमोट नहीं करेंगे, बिकॉज इंडियन HRs हैव दिस बायस व्हिच इज लाइक, इफ यू डोंट हैव एन MBA, are you even eligible to be a manager? Which in some cases, which is very odd. In fact, like, they will make you do an executive MBA key. It is the mandate of the company that if you want to rise above a certain level, you have to be an MBA. So sir, we really like you and everything is great about you, everyone loves you, but you don't have an MBA, the company will fucking pay for it, but आप executive MBA कर लो please. Okay, and of course they will be like कि 2-3 साल रहना ही पड़ेगा उसके बाद, so that is the thing they make you sign. Coming back, these people who enter these premier MBA institutions, right, they are very hardworking people, very above average in terms of intellect and capability, most of them, not all of them. And these are, but there is one thing which is extremely common amongst all of them: they're extremely hardworking, okay? They're strivers. What does a striver mean? This is an individual who's like, I'm never going to stop trying, मैं करते रहेगा, मुझे ये करना है, ठीक है? एंड दिस इज लाइक कि क्या करना है नहीं मालूम, बट मुझे ये करना है, आई एम गोना वर्क हार्ड, आई एम गोना कंपेयर माई सेल्फ, ओके? मुझे मुझे देखना है ये ऐसे कैसे किया, मैं भी बराबरी करूंगा इसकी, इसके आगे जाऊँगा, इसके ऊपर जाऊँगा। This is a striver. This person, they have an external locus of control. They have an external locus of self-esteem. They are not, rating themselves based on how they are feeling or who they are. Their definition of who they are is set by the world outside of them, which is why they put meaning in like their job, which is why they put meaning in their material wealth, in their bank balance, and other things that they have, right? So material wealth essentially, and any validation, external validation, right? Now I would be a liar if I said I'm none of those things. I am some of those things, definitely, right? Because even like I'm gonna be very frank, right? Like I really value external validation. That is a weakness of mine. कि अगर कोई आके मुझे बोला यार तू ही सही है, मैं मैं सही हूँ, मतलब जब तक कोई मुझे बोलता नहीं, इट इज़ वेरी टफ फॉर मी टू honestly feel great about myself. So I kind of need compliments once in a while, right? And that is my weakness. Okay, but don't but here's the thing, right? I like to believe I've improved over the years, but when I was young, like it was horrendous. Like if I was not given external validation, I considered myself one of the biggest losers of all time, right? So average Indian MBA, by the way, is more or less that guy which I just described. External sense of validation. This person really cares about how much they earn, okay, because that's central to their identity. They really care about what their title is. Okay, I know people who are vice presidents और एक कुत्ता report नहीं करता उनमें. Okay, they don't even have an intern who cares about them or their life. Who's like, who are you? I don't even care about you. Title inflation, something again that I've spoken about, right? So these are the things that are very common, okay, with these premier MBAs. Not all of them, most of them, okay. Like I'll give you an example, right? Like, and here's the thing, right? So a little bit of context. I remember I was very young, like like not even 21, right? And I had met this corporate training guy, and he told me that, and if I'm not wrong, he was also from a decent college. एंड उसने मुझे बोला था कि तेरे को एक कि कैसा है, क्या करना चाहता है तू? ऐसे ही Q&A हो रहा था, एंड लंच के टाइम पे मैं अकेले बात करने गया था। तो मैंने उनको बोला, सर मुझे तो MBA करना है, एंड दिस एंड दैट, एंड मुझे एकदम अच्छे कॉलेज से MBA करना है। एंड ही इज़ लाइक, है दैट्स योर लाइफ एम? बोला हाँ, बिकॉज़ मेरी मम्मी ने मुझे 6th स्टैंडर्ड में बोला था बेटा तू MBA करेगा, एंड दैट्स अ ट्रू स्टोरी बाय द वे। तो आई वाज़ लाइक, हाँ, मतलब वो एमबीए करेगा अच्छे कॉलेज से, पैसा कमाएगा, मतलब व्हाट द हेल, व्हाई नॉट? He's like, okay, fair. But do you know the life of these, do you know the lives of these, premier MBA grads, from all your big colleges and all? I was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean by life? They're young as shit. उनका दाढ़ी बराबर नहीं आया, उनको लाखों कमा रहे हो, क्या बात कर रहे हो? What kind of life? What would it be? It couldn't be worse than whatever I'm going through right now. And he was like, dude, most of them are miserable. I was like, what? He's like, bro, most of them are miserable. They earn well, I won't deny, but they have no meaning in their work. They don't find any meaning in their work. I know this because I go and train them like I'm training you. एंड दिस तो हम इनफॉर्मली बात कर रहे हैं, वो भी मुझे इनफॉर्मली आके बोलते हैं कि यार दिस ऑल सक्स, नन ऑफ दिस मेक सेंस, आई डोंट नो व्हाट आई एम डूइंग हियर, दिस वाज डेफिनेटली नॉट पार्ट ऑफ माय प्लान, आई वांट टू गेट द हेल आउट ऑफ हियर, बट वेरेवर एल्स आई गो एवरीवन सेज इट्स मोर और लेस द सेम एक्सपीरियंस. And I was so shocked when he said that to me. I was like, dude, why is this guy discouraging me? ये ऐसे क्यों बोल रहा है मुझको? And then he told me, like, he was like, see, I'm not discouraging you. You want to do it, go ahead and do it. But this is your, base that I want you to understand. कि ये ऐसा ही होता है. I was like, man, you know what? Whatever. As I said, whatever I was going through, it couldn't be worse than that. जब होगा तब देखा जाएगा. And fair enough, I did my MBA, got out, got a decent job, got a obnoxiously well-paying job, way more than my औकात, to be very frank. मेरे ability और मेरे औकात से ज़्यादा मुझे बहुत कम उम्र में पैसा मिल गया. And but yeah, because I was like super middle class, I was very good with my money, right? Like मैंने कभी ऐसा आड़ा टेढ़ा खर्चा नहीं किया, और अगर कभी गलती से आड़ा टेढ़ा खर्चा हो गया, सो आई ऑलवेज वाज लाइक, ओके ओके, अभी अभी ये शांत रहने का, ये महीना, लास्ट महीना बहुत खर्चा हुआ था. सो दैट वे, मैंने कभी ऐसा कोई ये सब ऐसा हरकतें नहीं की, ऑल्दो आई डू नो पीपल हु डिड दैट, राइट? लोन वोन लेके यूरोप जा रहे हैं, मतलब साले तू 1 लाख कमाता है महीने का, तू फिर भी लोन ले रहा है यूरोप जाने के लिए, क्या मजाक है? एनीवे, नाउ what happened was, and I started seeing this, realizing this with my other friends also, and people who I worked with also, and people who were friends ka friends, is that most of these premier MBAs had found zero meaning in their work. They didn't know what they were doing. I mean, not okay. They knew what they were doing. Obviously, they're very good at their jobs. Most of them, not all of them, because they're strivers. They're generalists. These are people who are running away from something. Like ये नहीं करना है, उसीलिए MBA करूंगा या करूंगी, and then I will figure out what I want to do, right? And if they interview with 17 companies, they'll give 17 different answers. Why should I hire you? Correct? They are like, तुम जो सुनना चाहते हो मैं बोलूंगा, just hire me. आगे जाके देखा जाएगा within 3 months, 6 months. If I feel like quitting, I'll do that also. Very few people have the clarity that हाँ, I want to do this, या मुझे finance में ही जाना है. उसके अंदर भी finance is huge. उसके अंदर भी I want to do investment banking, or I want to do corporate finance, or I want to get into this or that or this or that. I want to be a VC, or I want to be a product manager. This is not finance, but yeah. Then you see, of course, then it's like within marketing, I want to do digital marketing, and marketing I want to do FMCG marketing. यही करना है, ये नहीं करना है. Or I want to do B2B marketing. Nobody ever says that. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, I want to do B2B marketing, right? But soon they will. I think things are improving. So that's the reality, right? Like very few people are like, you know what, operations mere liye sahi hai, because I honestly believe in logistics. I want to do logistics. I have logistics experience in the past, and doing an MBA from a good college and specializing in operations and getting a job into a good conglomerate or any startup, and doing operations for them. That will be the right phase for my career. That will be the right step in my career. Very few people, 10 में से एक या दो लोग रहेंगे जिनको सच्ची में पता है उनको क्या करना है, right? And that's not a crime though, because what happens is that India में it's like कि हाँ हो गया ना, college वगैरह हो गया. Many MBA colleges, they are like, oh, this is not a placement agency, but they will scream to high heavens if anyone misquotes their placement report, right? So that is something which you need to be aware of. Even they know there is that positioning that we provide good placements. You will come here and you will 10x your salary, you will 5x your salary, you will 2x or 3x your salary, essentially, and you can change your career stream because of this. So that is the underhanded promise of an Indian premier MBA college, right? Now, having said that, these kids who are out, right, and these are 25, 26, 27, 28 साल के लोग, right? They're out in corporate India, and they have that incredible insecurity built into them and exploited into them, right? उनको पता रहता है, जो भी उनके आजू बाजू रहते हैं, कि इसको थोड़ा चाबी किया ये एक्स्ट्रा काम करेगा, right? And or at least they have a lot to prove, right? So the initial few years definitely go into overworking, no doubt about it. And they are like, मैं किसी भी चीज में काम करूंगा, चलेगा मेरे को, right? They will go for the highest bidder. Unfortunately, many of them will go for the highest bidder. They will not even think whether I want to do this or not. And that is why when you talk to any MBA aspirant also, उनको पूछो क्या करना है आपको, मुझे इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंकिंग में जाना है, मुझे प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर बनना है. मतलब क्यों? What if investment banking pays you only 5 lakhs a year? Will you want to go into investment banking? Will you, instead of 5 lakhs a month, if it pays you 5 lakhs a year, would you want to go there? And suddenly सबका ऐसा खट करके डगमगा जाते हैं लोग, because most of them are title chasers. Now I'm not saying I'm ready to work for anything that pays very little, no, but I'm saying that is not my primary goal. It used to be in the past, and I've made mistakes and I've suffered. Okay, now most people in India, especially young people, they do not understand that you should not be prioritizing only money initially in your life. Okay, because what you do very early in your career defines your CV, it shapes your CV, it shapes your career trajectory. And I promise you, within 2 to 3 years of working in an industry, most Indian companies will typecast you. They'll be like, हाँ ये तो मीडिया एंड एंटरटेनमेंट का बंदा है, हाँ ये तो ई कॉमर्स का बंदा है, अरे हाँ ये तो FMCG वाला है, ओ नो नो दिस गाय इज सेल्स, वो भी B2B सेल्स, ये तो IT वाला बंदा है, IT सेल्स वाला है ये. And very rarely will it happen that you are able to switch streams in India after working in an industry for 2 to 3 years. It gets very difficult. Because as I said, most HRs and most companies are like, मुझे बना बनाया माल चाहिए. मैं नहीं चाहता तू आएगा किसी और इंडस्ट्री से एंड आई एम गोइंग टू टेक अ बेट ऑन यू एंड तेरे को मैं ट्रेन करते बैठूं. ठीक है. सो बी वेरी केयरफुल अबाउट what career you choose very early, early on. I'm not saying you can't change it. I'm saying it gets very difficult. और इंडिया में सप्लाई बहुत है लोगों का, याद रखो. Like colleges are churning out. There are some top colleges who are for some reason churning out 1,000 students per year. How can a single college churn out so many and call itself premier is beyond me. But okay, maybe our population is so high. Maybe we have so many amazing people. Maybe we just do, right? But yeah, I'll obviously make a video on like, I think most Indian MBA colleges realized 10 years ago that they can really milk this into a business. And that is why they just created multiple, branches, or like it's a bloody bank or something. Idhar bhi, udhar bhi, idhar bhi, udhar bhi. Yeah, we are just waiting for Harvard in Moscow, or bloody Stanford in, Pune or something of that sort. Yeah, that's all that we require. Coming back, these MBA grads, these premier MBA grads, they don't give a shit. They are like, पैसा ही कमाने का है मेरे को, तो मैं कुछ भी करेगा. मैं M&A में चला जाएगा, मैं सेल्स में चला जाएगा. अरे सर, आप मुझे बाहर भेज रहे हो? क्या बात कर रहे हो? लंदन भेज रहे हो? क्या करना है बताओ? लंदन में भेज, आई डोंट केयर. अरे क्या करना है छोड़ दो, बस भेजो, मैं देख लूंगा जो करना है. These people go for shiny things, okay? Many of them. And obviously, when they reach there, more or less everything drills down to just make more money for the company. Like everything else, right? Like everything else, it's just like, just make more money. Okay, that's it. Nobody cares about who you are, what you like, what you don't like. Make more money. Okay, we pay you a tidy sum. If you don't perform, you're on the chopping block. Yeah, you cost a lot. Make our investment worth it. चलो काम करो, हो गया. Now obviously these people are working, they're working extra hard. They never planned to be a fucking risk analyst or an insurance salesperson or a credit card digital sales analyst or some bullshit like that ever in their life, but now they are there because they are being paid like 25 lakhs a year or 30 lakhs a year, right? And when they're changing jobs also, they are like, मेरे को इसने, और मैंने देखा ये साला इसका सैलरी यार, ये वो तो चंदू अपने इसमें बैच में था, इस साले को 28 लाख मिल रहा है, इसको किसने दिया साले को इतना? यार इंटरव्यू तो सही क्रैक कर रहा है, मैं भी करूंगा. कौन दे रहा है मेरे को 30 लाख रुपया दे रहा, मैं जा रहा हूँ, मैं go there. You go there and you're working 18 hours a day, you're working 6.5 days a week. You have lost your girlfriend. Nobody cares about you. Your parents think you have lost your mind. You have definitely lost your mind. The last time you met your friends was 6 months ago. Obviously, you're sad, bro. Why won't you be? Right? Like, no, and when most of these people, when they're young, that included me, right? Never thinking about work-life balance. And then it comes to bite you later on. And then जाने का Instagram पे रोना धोना करने का कि life sucks and corporate maxing and this and that and I'm a corporate slave. And do you have that maturity to swallow your ego and honestly prioritize yourself, your mental health, and not just money for once? वो जब तक होता है, मतलब तब तक it gets quite late for most people. But family family आता है तो लोग थोड़ा rationalize हो जाता है. But by that time what happens is, I know people who are calling each other and they're like, bro मेरे को sales से निकलने का. अरे यार bro, हाँ but sales से निकलने का है, but it's been like 5 years you're in sales. अब तू कैसे निकलेगा? It's very difficult. नहीं यार, मेरे को sales नहीं करना है. तेरे को अभी पता चला? It's been 5 years and now you realize that you don't want to do sales. What the hell? Why did it not realize? Why did you not realize this 3 years ago? Because you were minting money. Times were good. You got incentives. You were earning money. That's the whole point. You have to think of it like, आप दारू पीने बैठे हो ना, आपको डिसाइड करना है कि कब. यू नीड टू कम विद अ प्लान. यार आज मैं 3 पैक के ऊपर नहीं पी सकता, मैं 2 पैक के ऊपर नहीं पी सकता, और अगर मैं पीऊंगा, अगर उसके ऊपर हो गया, आई एम गोना लीव. You have to predetermine a lot of things. You have to ask yourself every moment, what am I even doing? You can't just be living on the basis of that SMS that comes at the end of the month कि इतना इतना पैसा आया मेरे अकाउंट में. Because पूरा जिंदगी बाकी है वो करने को. And if you are going to do that, okay, that is now coming to the solution part. Do something that you're remotely passionate about. or at least you can tolerate. There are many people who will wake up at the age of 40 and they're just like, oh my God, everything around me sucks. Starting with my job, I hate my job. And what happens? People like these, they become very lousy managers. अब तब तक उनका 15 साल का एक्सपीरियंस हो गया होता है, 15-20 साल का, दे आर लाइक, एंड दे ट्रीट एवरीवन अंडर देम लाइक शिट, और दे आर जस्ट नॉट इंटरेस्टेड, दे आर जस्ट नॉट देयर बेस्ट वर्जन इन लाइफ. Okay. And then the cycle continues. The people at the top that you see in corporate India, right? Not only are they good at what they do, they're passionate about it. They're passionate about it. Trust me. Every person at the top in corporate India, have to be passionate about it. Because everyone has 24 hours, bro. Everyone has 24 hours. तू कितना घंटा काम करे? चल तू बोलेगा मैं 4 घंटा सो रहा, मैं 20 घंटा काम करेगा. Assume. तू कब तक करेगा? चल तेरा हेल्थ ने भी तेरे को साथ दे दिया. After a point of time, the only way to differentiate yourself is to come up with better solutions. Okay. How are you going to do that? You have to be creative. How do you get creative? You understand things around you better. How do you do that? You spend time and you genuinely have the passion to spend time and really understand things from first principles. Yeah, of course, there is that element of right place, right time, and so on and so forth. But consistently doing it over the years requires, like, hey, I'm passionate about this segment, this industry, this domain, this company. You have to be passionate about something. You can't just be like, मैंने ये कर लिया. हाँ, रेडिट पे देखता रहता हूँ, मेरे वही सवाल आते रहते हैं. हाँ या हाँ, हाउ हाउ मेरा सिर्फ 20% ग्रोथ हुआ है, सैलरी में 5 साल हो गया, वो उसका 100% ग्रोथ पे है. अरे हो, बट इज देर is that the only parameter of comparison in your lives? Dude, I have friends who earn like 1.5 times me, right? And I'm very happy for them. Because real maturity is not just comparing yourself with someone else. It's good to have a benchmark, but you can't be hating on someone because they earn more than you, or you can't be looking down upon someone because they earn lesser than you. You can be in either of those positions like this. Okay. And also, I know people who are just there, like, I don't care. Whatever they give me, I'll do it as long as they pay me. Dude, there are these people who are in their late 30s who are working as executive assistants and so on and so forth for founders and CEOs and so on and so forth. Like, I'm sorry. Like, if that is the only role, that's a huge problem. Okay, if they do that and they're handling a vertical or a strategic project, and by handling, I mean not program managing, not being a postman, like actually you are responsible for this, bro. You are leading this. You're doing some strategy work here. And also you are leading some part of the execution. Okay? फिर ठीक है. अगर आप जिंदगी भर प्रोग्राम मैनेजमेंट करोगे ना, तो मतलब that is not going to scale after a point of time. That is my whole point, right? This is why there is so much unhappiness when it comes to being a premier MBA grad in India, because you probably have just done it because you are like, you were smart, you're like cat crack karenge ho gaya, and then you are like ki ha, okay, once this is done, I will just go along with it. I know people who are in marketing because finance tough लगता है. अरे भाई, ठीक है, कर लिया. तो you're doing this is like marketing is also whatever. लोग आ गए ऐसे आपके पास in marketing. How long are you going to do it until someone who's really passionate, they're going to blow you out of the park in like 5 to 7 years? And you are never going to compete with them, by the way. People who are genuinely passionate about their work, they'll eat you alive. And companies, after a point of time, they only care about numbers. Okay? I promise you, they only care about numbers. Like, जो भी लाके देगा हम उसको करा के दे देंगे. So please understand, if you want a long-term career with, with a level of, basic satisfaction. I'm not saying delight. I'm not saying amazing feelings of enthusiasm every time. As long as it is not even repulsive to you, that's fine. Okay, that should be your aim. Ki, yaar, at least Sunday evening ko I shouldn't feel I'm scamming someone, or oh my god, everything sucks about this. Don't do that to yourself. You'll lose that joy. People are like, corporate chala gaya, my joy went away. No, bro. You let your own decisions take away your joy. That's my point. That's my point. So I know it is very enticing to just look at the money. You will probably not appreciate it now, but once you're older, you speak to anyone in the mid 30s and late 30s, Be very careful about what you choose to do. Okay? Be very careful, because that will define so many other aspects of your life. Because if your professional life is screwed up, you will screw up your personal life. Sooner or later, you will do that, whether you want to or not. So keep that in mind, right? So, anyway, this was something which I wanted everyone to know. You can agree, disagree, but most premier MBA grads, they, at least, I won't say they're all sad, nothing like that, but many of them, they're lost. They have no, they're like, I don't know, what am I doing? Yeah, this work doesn't excite me. Of course it doesn't, bro. Of course it doesn't. You never woke up in the morning, thinking ki I'm going to do developer relations or I'm going to lead treasury for this conglomerate. No, nobody ever woke up in the morning for that. Very few people did, by the way. But whoever they did, they reached a certain level and they are chill with it. It is very difficult to come to terms with, okay, this is my life and this is what I'm doing. It takes a lot of time. It took me like good like 6 years to be like, okay, this is what I am, this is what I'm doing, and you know what, I think I like it. So and this is even me after knowing what I wanted to do in life, because what they taught you in college, what you had an idea about work, is extremely different from the reality of corporate India, right? So keep that in mind, and as much as possible, keep your locus of control inside. Okay, because the moment it goes outside, you're going to be manipulated, right? And I won't say don't be greedy, but have a little bit of logic. Employ a little bit of logic when you're comparing your salary to someone else. Yeah. And for God's sake, put in a good effort and a sincere effort every Monday. Yeah. Don't be a drone. Do justice to your degree. Yeah. Uh, don't be a mercenary. मेरे पे पैसा फेंका, मैं आ गया वहां पे काम करने, और फिर आके रोने का टपरी पे, this sucks. Be better than that. You're smarter than that. So you need to be better than that. Anyway, this was Paul Kibol. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. See ya.